Now, there's some great news that I heard about out of West Africa. And the moment I heard this, I retweeted it. And you're not following us on Twitter, you can go down to the pinned comment and you can see all our social media handles, whether we on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Go and look at all of that and just follow us everywhere. Don't cost you a dime to do so you can keep up when we post things right up front when it happens. So the news came out about West African nation Benin and their president by the name of Patrice Talon. He said enough is enough with giving our money to France. Now, if you remember, we had conducted a live stream on this channel, and we'll put that link in the pinned comment so you can go back and watch that live stream, where it talks about France in their former colonial era nations, which are 14 West African nations, were making them give their money to put it inside the Bank of France. And they had to do this. Now, this agreement came because when they was getting their independence, and they'll say, all right, France, you got to get out of here. What France started doing is burning down schools, burning down infrastructure, putting cement in the pipes, just trying to just destroy everything on their way out. And other people saw that and say, OK, what can we do to end this? And it had them sign this neo-colonial pact where basically they paying them money just so they don't have to get destroyed. France has been a problem. It was the same thing in Haiti, where the Haitians defeated the French and they still had to pay them money back. And all of the white supremacists were on code with that. So France has been a major thorn on the side of black progress in Africa and definitely in the Caribbean. In that video that I produced, I told you guys that France would be a third world country without those West African nations. They take their money to build up their country. The West African nations don't have the things they have that they need for their people, and their people are leaving and going to countries like France. So you have France benefiting off of these West African nations. The United Nations know exactly what France is doing. This is why we talk about this global white supremacy. They know exactly what France is doing. The United Nations know exactly what's going on. And they say nothing. So when people say, oh, you need to go to the United Nations, your best bet is to constantly expose them in the means that you're exposing them now. Because if you go to a place like United Nations, you're not going to really expose them like that. Everybody knows what's going on with France. They know that France don't have crap and they need West Africa to survive. They know that. They take the money from West Africa and they invest it and do whatever they want to do. Then that little piece of crap Macron walk around trying to tell African nations about how poor they are and they need to stop having so many kids. I look at him and I'm like, how dare you go walk over there and tell them anything and looking down on them, and you wouldn't be where you at without them. As is stated, the third world created Europe. Europe wouldn't be nowhere where it's at without the third world. These people got some nerve. But this brother is saying no more. We're not putting our money over there with you anymore. And France has always killed the leaders who took a stand, or they would cause a military coup every single time. But things may be different because they just had a Africa-Russia summit. And I don't know what happened over there. Maybe those nations start talking to Putin about it. We don't know. So something is going on. Now, those West African states, they're coming out with their own currency called the ECHO. And they're going to back up their own currency the way they see fit and right on. But this CFA that they're using in these, what they call Francophone nations, that got to go. Matter of fact, France don't even use the CFA. They use the euro. So the thing is, this brother is taking this bold stand, and a lot of people are like, ooh, like he really taking this stand. This is happening. The reason why this is happening because it's different. See, if he'd have took this stand, let's say back in the 80s, 90s, France could have easily took him out. Easy, because nobody would have even known about it that much. And the media in this country would cover for France because it's all white supremacy at the end of the day. So they cover for each other. But with the creation of social media, with the creation of the black media that cares about what's going on throughout the diaspora, the eyes is on them now. So let them put a hand and make something happen. We know exactly who is responsible. We know exactly. France is responsible for the poverty. France is responsible for why you have so many people leaving those nations, trying to come to the United States, trying to go to Italy, trying to go everywhere they're trying to go. It is France. They're the cause of that migration. And the Italian prime minister, he had called that out. He said, you know, all these people that's coming into our country is because of France. It's not really because of them, because he knew exactly what was going on. So that has to stop. I don't believe Africans need to be leaving their countries to come to the United States to do anything, or going to Europe, or going to wherever they need to go. I don't believe in that. And if they are coming over here for education, just my opinion, come under your student visa, get your education, go back to your nation and make your nation great. You can't have the brain drain out of African nations and think it's going to be good. No, we can't have all these Nigerian doctors here in Houston and they don't have no Nigerian doctors over there in Nigeria. You have to go back to your nations and make them great. Are doing so well. You having the best and brightest of all these nations coming into America a lot of times, instead of being the best and brightest in their own nation. The African continent needs all the expertise it can. So it should be a plan to go back to your nation. It should be. Don't come parlay over here. Make your bread, get your education, and go help your nation out. French finance minister by the name of Bruno Le Maire, he said that Paris is open to ambitious reform. No, because all reform is, well, let's keep colonizing you economically in a lighter way. You never do reform with the white supremacists. No, the system was set up to benefit them and harm you. You're not going to, because see, their reform going to be, look, how much money we got to pay you to keep selling out your people. That's all it's going to be. It's not going to be reform for the people. He said, we don't need nothing from you. You stay out of here. Matter of fact, we don't like you. We don't want to deal with you. It's nothing. It take your military out of here too, because you got to get their military out. As long as you allow them in your country, they're going to cause a problem. Y'all shouldn't even be speaking French either. Speak Swahili, speak something, but get rid of that French. These people are occupying your nations, doing whatever they want to do, causing all kind of problems in your nation. And what this president's trying to do, you know, the white supremacists already came out talking about internationally saying, well, you know, by international law, that may be difficult for them to do that. Why is it difficult? Why? Is there money? Now, what I will say, because I know what they want to do, they want to get their money back out of those French banks. I know them. I know them like the back of my hand. I study them. That's just what I do. Brothers in those West African nations that want to get your money back, just like all the brothers and sisters trying to get the artifacts back out of all these European nations that stole your history. You notice how, have you got all that back yet? No. Okay. It's the same thing with this money. Unfortunately, I don't believe you'll get a dime of your money back. I don't believe it. But what I will say to you is chuck that up to the game. Say, let them have it. But from this day forward, you ain't getting nothing. Matter of fact, we don't even want you here. Don't come in here. We don't want that Macron running in here. We don't want to see you no more. We don't want anything to deal with you. Not you. Because you stole our money. Matter of fact, you banned from coming in here. You can't come in here until you pay our money back. That's how I would handle that. So nobody from France can come over there? Nope, not until they pay their bill. They stole our money. So give our money back and come and visit and do whatever you want to do. But if you're not going to pay, then you're not coming in here. It's just that simple. That's how I would handle it. You need to pay what you owe. You owe us. That's our money. And they had the nerve when they needed their money to say, oh, you got to get a loan on your own money and pay them an interest. You see how these people are in France? And then on top of that, France has been a weasel all in West Africa and at that African Union. That's why Dr. Arikana, they let her go, because she was speaking up about France and talking about what they've been doing to hurt West Africa. And you know, you got, just like you got sellouts over here in America, you got sellouts on the continent as well. They will sell other Africans down the river. We sell African Americans down the river. You know, it's, trust me, you got the bootlicks globally. It's just not one area. It's not. So they want to tap dance for France and get rid of this sister, but actually they actually made her bigger by doing that. See, we live in a day and time, you can't shut people down like that anymore. I fire them and that's the end of them. No, because they can go to every avenue. Dr. Arikana can go to every avenue to talk now. And she said her mission is to see that France is out of West Africa. Why don't they make themselves, why don't France pull themselves up by their bootstraps? Why don't they do that? Why they always in West African nations worrying about what they got going on? Wagging your finger, a video I did a while back, that Macron talking about, you know, how many babies African women are having. You just mad because your women not having babies. You mad the women in your country got struggle wombs. That's what it is. That's why you're pissed off. That's why you got Bill Gates trying to run in African nations. Why don't you go in Europe and go try to help them out? See, my thing is, brothers in West Africa, or wherever your brothers and sisters are at on the African continent, stop letting these people come in here trying to dictate to you, telling you, oh, here's a vaccine. Here, take this. Oh, here's this contraceptive. Take this. Don't stop taking things from them. It's never going to be anything good for you. Always ask yourself this question, especially if they're coming from America. Say, wait a minute. African Americans, they get treated like crap in America. So why are you coming over here and trying to help me? I don't get that. That's the only question you got to ask, because they care so much about black people. They sure wouldn't be coming from America doing certain things to help you. It wouldn't make sense, because if that's the case, they would help African Americans, right? Well, shout out to the brothers out there in West Africa, especially the president in Benin. You keep fighting, brother, and make sure all of them on board. All of y'all have a unified front. And the next step is get France military out of your nation. Say, hey, you got to go. We don't want you here. Bye. You got to go. And they can't stay because that's not their nation whatsoever. This is why I believe the whole African continent need to band together. I know you got the East Africa community of nations. You got the West Africa. I know you have ECOWAS. I know that. But all you guys need to join together as one. I'm telling you, just like we made the video about if we would ever form Voltron, oh boy, what could we do, right? It's the same thing in the continent. What if y'all formed just one entity, come together as one? Oh boy, they wouldn't know what to do. They love that y'all are broken up in all these different countries and different languages. But if you put all that aside and say, look, we all black in this world, that's how they see us. So we're going to come together as one black entity, and we're going to be the captain of our own destiny. That is what they don't want to see on the African continent. That's what I want to see. Julius Malema talks about that as well. That's what he wants to see. Everybody come together as one. All the diaspora come together as one. Then we could actually get ahead. Divide and conquer has been a strategy for a long time. That's been a strategy. We're seeing that strategy. We know how they've been doing it, and we're throwing that away. We are going to come together. All of us will. It's definitely going to happen. I see it. Of course, you know, you're going to have black folks that's going to try to break that up because they're working for them folks. Obviously, that's because they bread is buttered by them folks with our oppression. But more of us want to be together than those that want us apart. So either they get with the program or they go to the other side. You understand? That character Stephen from Django Unchained, that is a global entity. You got Stephen on the continent, Stephen in the Caribbean, Stephen in the Afro-Latino nation, Stephen right here in America. You have that character. They want to work for them folks and hurt us. That's why we got to make sure to always identify who they are and get rid of them, cut them off, get them away from the community. They can't be around because they are nothing but an operative. They're not trying to promote what's good for us. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this particular story that's coming out of West Africa. But this is some great news. This is great news. I definitely want to highlight that. And you brothers and sisters, let us know if anything going on over there. France trying to cause any problems. You know, you guys got cell phones in those nations as much as we do. Pass those videos. Let us know if France doing anything janky in Benin, because we got to expose that.